Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the MLB slate on DraftKings for Friday, June 29th. We have a 14-game slate on Friday night, a slate that very intriguing, has a lot of good pitching options, a lot of top-tier pitchers and great matchups. Got DeGrom versus the Marlins, Bauer versus Oakland, Garrett Cole against the Rays, Patrick Corbin against the Giants. Just so many good studs to pay up for. There's mid-tier plays as well, I feel like. Marco Gonzalez against the Royals, great matchup there. Even Rich Hill at 7,700 gets the Rockies out of Coors Field. Rich Hill could be a play. Joe Musgrove against the Padres, 7,600 you could possibly consider. Even if you're looking to go really, really cheap, maybe like Tyler Anderson against the Dodgers could be a play down there at 6,700 if you're looking for some cheap value. Even a guy like Eric Lauer, just 5,700 against the Pirates could be an option if you're really trying to punt this position, trying to punt pitcher. So definitely a lot of ways we can go today. I think this makes for a great tournament slate. A lot of studs to pay up for. I think ownership's going to be pretty spread out between these top tier guys. I feel like DeGrom might carry the most ownership, but it's going to be pretty close between like him and Bauer. Garrett Cole might be the lowest owned, but still should get ownership here versus the Rays. Obviously, with these stud top three pitchers on this slate and Corbin as well, we're definitely going to want to pay up. I feel like, especially because of these guys' matchups. And if I have to pick one guy, my favorite right now is Trevor Bauer, 13,300 against the Athletics. Bauer's just been so good as of late. He's been getting a ton of strikeouts. You could look at his last 4 games, 12, 12, 8, 11 strikeouts. Even past his last 4 games, got 11 Ks against Minnesota, 13 strikeouts against the Astros. Bauer's just been great this year. He's been I'm pretty sure he leads the league in strikeouts. The dude's just been so good. This is an Oakland team that we know will strike out a lot versus right-handed pitching. If we look at their projected lineup, their Ks from top to bottom. Bauer's in a good pitcher's park as well, Oakland's ballpark. Very favorable to pitchers. 71 degrees, not too warm, so pretty decent pitching weather as well. Really like Bauer here. I think he has a ton of upside. Could easily be the highest scoring pitcher on this slate. Looks like he's got over 30 DraftKings points in 4 straight games. I think that streak continues today, and I think Bauer definitely can get 30-plus DK points here. Love him at 13-3. If I have to rank like the top tier guys, I'd go Bauer 1, DeGrom 2, Cole 3, and then Corbin 4. Corbin's a guy that I think is a little risky. His velocity has definitely been down. That's something a lot of people have noted and a lot of people have seen. Not throwing as hard. He still, though, in his last game against Pittsburgh was pretty good with 7 innings, 12 strikeouts, only 3 hits allowed. Before that Pittsburgh start, though, he had definitely been up and down. Got rocked by Pittsburgh earlier that month, I believe. Against the Mets, got hit pretty hard. San Francisco, when he faced him in AT&T, did decent. This is a spot where Corbin could definitely perform well. He is 11,900. You do get some savings if you go down to him from the top-tier pitchers. But I think out of all those stud pitchers, he's probably the riskiest option. So therefore, that's why he kind of ranks number 4 for me. But I still will probably have him in tournaments. I do plan on entering this $8 contest at least like 9 or 10 times today. Probably going to put about 8 or 9 lineups in there, and I'll probably have a lineup with at least I'll have a lineup with Bauer, a lineup with DeGrom, a lineup with Cole, and a lineup with Corbin. So yeah, definitely like all 4 guys, and I think all 4 are in play. But if I'm just making one lineup today, Bauer would probably be the guy I'd roll with. But then the SP2s, we'll go and look at the SP2s, the guys we can pair with our studs. I think there's a lot of options. My favorite, though, as of now, is Marco Gonzalez, 7,800 versus the Royals. I really like Marco Gonzalez here. This is a great matchup. The Royals just been terrible this year, been terrible as of late. Look at their projected lineup for tomorrow. It is not very good. Whit Merrifield, Rosell Herrera, Mike Moustakas, Perez, Dozier, Gordon, Alcides Escobar, Abraham Almonte, Adalberto Mondesi. These are just not good hitters. I'd say the guys I'm probably the most worried about is Merrifield, Moustakas, and Perez. Once you get past those 3, it's just a ton of hitters that strike out, a ton of just bad hitters in general. It's a good pitcher's park. The Royals only have a 3.3 implied run total for today. It's good pitching weather. I just think Marco Gonzalez is a really good option here. He's had some rough starts as of late, going up against Boston, against the Yankees, against the Angels. This is first pretty much good matchup he's had in about 3 starts. I think we're going to see Gonzalez get back to around here where he was in the month of May with 29 against Oakland, 22 against Texas, 24 against Tampa Bay. 20-plus DraftKings points definitely possible for Marco Gonzalez, and I could easily see him reaching that amount or exceeding that amount. So I like going with him at SP2. I think Joe Musgrove right there in price, though. Also a very good option as well versus the Padres. If you want to consider Joe Musgrove here, I think he is definitely in play. It's coming off some rough starts his last few games, but we saw early this year, especially right when he was starting for the Pirates against the Cardinals, against the Cubs, really good outings there. I believe he got 7 strikeouts against St. Louis, 5 against Chicago, 5 against the Dodgers, 6 against Arizona, 6 against Cincy, and then his last start against the Diamondbacks really struggled. But this is obviously a great matchup here. We know the Padres suck. They strike out a lot. Joe Musgrove, guy I'm definitely going to be heavy on, especially in tournaments like him there at 7,600. And then I mentioned like the value plays earlier. If you're really trying to punt, Tyler Anderson, 6,700 you could go to. Musgrove, Rich Hill even, 7,700. I know he started last game against the Mets. Wasn't too great. In that outing, he went 5 innings, allowing 5 hits, 4 runs, walk, only got 5 strikeouts. But this is a good spot for him against the Rockies team that does struggle outside of Coors Field, and a team that we do want to target outside of Coors Field. Maybe Rich Hill you could go to at 7,700, but Musgrove and Gonzalez would much rather have over Rich Hill if I just have to choose one guy. But yeah, that's it for pitcher. The pitchers I'm really focused on today. We'll go ahead and talk about some bats. We're definitely going to be need some value here. Only 3,600 remaining per player when we go Bauer and Gonzalez. So all of my hitters are going to be pretty cheap options. We'll start off at first base, though, with a cheap option here. I really like Luis Valbuena. He's only 3,400 and a matchup with David Hess. David Hess is definitely a pitcher I want to pick on. The Angels have a 5.5 implied run total for today. They're in a good hitter's park with good hitting weather. You've got really cheap bats in this lineup. When you get to like the 5 through 7, 5 through 8 with Valbuena, Simmons, Cole Calhoun, a lot of value here. Ian Kinsler leading off at 3,800. I think is definitely a good second base value play. David Hess is just not good. Don't really need to say much here. Just definitely want to target him with Angels bats. And Valbuena, a guy that does have power. One thing he struggles with is striking out, but David Hess really doesn't strike anybody out. Definitely gets hit hard. Really like Valbuena here. Definitely think he has a ton of upside at first base or third base. You can play him at either spot. I like him for value at 3,400. But the reason I plugged him in at first is because there is a third baseman that I like that's also very cheap. Yomer Sanchez, he's 3,700. Hopefully he is in the lineup today. He is listed as day today because it looks like he had a left quad contusion. I'm not sure. It looks like he left Thursday's game. If he's not able to play today, we're definitely going to have to consider somebody else. But on Fantasy Labs, he is in the projected lineup for the White Sox, projected bat second, versus Giovanni Gallardo, who is a pitcher that I do want to pick on today. I love the White Sox as a stack. Going to Texas in that heat, that hitter's park, going to be 99 degrees. Great hitter's park, 2 teams with over a 5 implied run total. You want exposure to both sides of these games. I know last series when it was Texas and the Padres, I stacked that game up. It seemed like every night they played, and it really didn't work out. But with these 2 pitchers on the mound, Dylan Covey and Gallardo, we are going to want to stack against these guys, especially Gallardo. I just don't believe in him. I don't think he's a good pitcher. Moncada, Sanchez, Abreu, Garcia, Davidson, I think all these guys are in play, especially that 1 through 5. And you have value there with Sanchez, Garcia, and Davidson all under 4K. Love the White Sox as a stack. Love Yomer Sanchez. Hopefully he'll be in the lineup today, and I think if he is, great value at third base for just 3,700. And then my final play in the outfield, another guy under 4K, getting more exposure to the White Sox. Mention him, Avisel Garcia, only 3,600 versus Gallardo. Another play that I think makes a ton of sense here. He's just dirt cheap, a guy that has a ton of power, a ton of upside. I believe he has homered twice in his last 4 games, and he's got great BVP versus Gallardo, going 3 for 10 with 2 home runs. So he's homered twice off of Gallardo. I think he adds to that total today. I could easily see Garcia hitting a homer, and I just think he makes a ton of sense if you're looking for a cheap outfielder, especially if you're stacking the White Sox today. You should definitely be playing Garcia and Sanchez. I think that that 1, 2, 3, 4 stack with Moncada, Sanchez, Abreu, Garcia, I'm going to be pretty heavy on that in tournaments. Hopefully it works out. I think it probably will versus Gallardo. Just a pitcher I definitely want to pick on, a pitcher I do not believe in. So yeah, guys, these are my 5 plays for Friday's 14-game slate. These are 5 guys I'm definitely going to be heavy on in tournaments. Bauer, Gonzalez, Luis Valbuena, Yomer Sanchez, and Avisel Garcia. Now, if we do want to talk about some of the stacks for this slate on some BVP plays, I did mention earlier that I'm going to be multi-entering, or not really max entering, but I'm going to have about 10 lineups in this $8 mini 8s. Might have some lineups in other contests. So I'm going to be stacking a lot of teams here. I'm going to be stacking the Angels. Do I do think I'm going to stack them in one lineup. I'm going to have a game stack of this White Sox-Rangers game. Both sides, I'll have a stack of the White Sox, I'll have a stack of the Rangers. I think in cash games, a lot of these guys are in play today with their price tags, with just the hitting environment, the implied run totals for both teams. You want a lot of exposure to this game. Then other stacks that we could go to, maybe the Mariners against Ian Kennedy could be a play. You don't love that ballpark. You don't love that ballpark for hitters. It's Mariners Field is definitely a pitcher's park. But I still think with how bad Ian Kennedy is, you could go to the Mariners. But like top three stacks, it's the White Sox, the Rangers, and the Angels. Those are the teams I'm really heavy on for today. But yeah, I think that is it for stacks. Now moving on to BVP plays. Some of the BVP plays on the slate. We'll cover the ones with about a 15 to 20 at-bat sample. If you want to look at all of the BVP plays, you can just pause the video here. But yeah, we will start off with Mookie Betts, who is 10 for 24 versus CC Sabathia. Justin Bour gone 8 for 19 with 2 home runs versus Jacob deGrom. Marcell Ozuna, great BVP versus Tehran, 17 for 42 with 3 home runs, a 4.05 average. Brandon Crawford, 9 for 32 with 2 home runs versus Corbin, and Hunter Pence, 15 for 38 with 4 home runs versus Corbin. Hunter Pence, great BVP there. Then the final 2 plays versus Tyler Anderson, Enrique Hernandez has gone 4 for 18 with a home run, and Justin Turner 10 for 18 with a home run versus Tyler Anderson. But now moving on to PVB, the pitchers that have done well and the pitchers that have struggled. Garrett Cole, he has done well against the Rays in the past, really no surprise there. Rays have only hit him for a 182 average through 66 ABs, and Ian Kennedy, he has done well in the past versus the Mariners. Mariners only hitting him for a 179 average through 78 ABs. Then the pitchers that have struggled, Julio Tehran has struggled in the past versus the Cardinals. The Cardinals have hit Tehran for a 309 average through 97 at-bats. And then Tyler Anderson, he has struggled versus the Dodgers in the past. The Dodgers have hit him for a 330 average through 88 at-bats. But yeah, guys, that is it for BVP and PVB on the main slate, guys. And I think that is it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully it helps you. Hopefully this video makes you more prepared for tonight's slate. If you guys did enjoy the video, then just make sure you give it a like before you get out of here, and make sure you do subscribe if you have not already. And if you have any questions, you can always hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT, or you can leave a comment down below. I'm always reading comments. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment anything down below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, guys, I think that is pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, guys. And good luck tonight on this 14-game slate. Peace.